Analyzing your own football matches. A powerful tool for getting useful insights and data on how you actually performed that unfortunately a lot of young players don't take advantage of. The goal of a match analysis is to make you perform better as a footballer by you going through the video to find the key takeaways and key stats. And in this video, we will go through the key things to keep in mind when you're starting to analyze your own games. And the starting point to everything is you finding a way to get someone to film your matches.
One thing is remembering how it went on the pitch, but the other thing is seeing what actually went down. And if you want to start analyzing your game, you want to be able to precisely count all your stats. So if you get your dad or your friend to count your passes, that might not be accurate. They might not see everything, they might not remember it all. But if you have it all on video, you can actually go in and make some stats after the game yourself. What kind of stats do you want to look at then? Of course, that really varies from being a goalkeeper to a defender to a midfielder and obviously a striker. But if we start off with goalkeepers, obviously saves per shots.
Crosses, like when the goalkeeper comes out for a cross.
Keeper!
How many did he successfully either catch or punch away? Even pass accuracy for a goalkeeper. I mean, nowadays the modern goalkeeper needs to be good with his feet as well.
Yeah.
Those are probably the key stats. For a defender, obviously, pass accuracy is a big thing.
Yes.
Duels.
Duels one, headers one.
Situations like, dribbling, how many one-on-ones did he win?
Yeah.
Headers.
I would probably also go with interceptions. It's like all these little things where you can see that you're actually doing your job as a defender is something you want to look at. And the same thing kind of applies for the midfielders. You want to look, again, at pass accuracy. That's pretty important. Are you good? Are you bad? And what is a good pass accuracy, actually?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things we're going to discuss later because you can't always get stuck on stats. Like, you can have a pass accuracy of 94% in the game, but maybe you didn't do much at all. Like, maybe you didn't give any actually key passes. Maybe you just played it safe.
As a midfielder, you also want to look at duels, your interceptions, your tackles.
And depending on your role, you might even want to look at how many shots on goal did you try.
Yes.
At least take.
Yes. And of course, shots on goal is also a very good way to kind of measure how good you did as a striker. So obviously goals scored, maybe assists,
chances created,
and your conversion rate. So how many goals you scored compared to how many shots you actually took.
But there are also ways you can take this to the next level. So say you are a central midfielder. Instead of only calculating your successful passes percentage, you can also then, on top of those, calculate which percent of your passes were forward passes.
Yes. One thing to remember is that don't just get hung up on stats. You might have had a very good game, you might have made a lot of good runs, but some of these things that you're analyzing might not just have come off. And maybe it's just not representative of your game for that particular match.
I have a bad feeling that people can get stuck on stats and analysis. Think about the game of a striker, You might not even touch the ball for the whole half, and you score the 90th minute winner.
Don't just get hung up on stats. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, this is Q&A episode 31, and we started kicking off right away with football!
Does learning freestyle skills help in a real match situation?
Oh, see, this is a tough one, right? Because a lot of freestyle moves, you can ask Philip, our resident freestyle, and he would probably say, yes, of course, it helps a lot. And I would tend to agree with him. But on the other hand, freestyle is a lot of being stationary. You stand a lot in the same position and obviously do your moves in a confined area. Whereas in a match, you're all over the place and the ball will not just be lying in front of you to pick it up and do something with it. I mean, as an overall footballer, it's not going to give you any match intelligence, anything like that.
My answer is no. If you want to be a footballer, forget about freestyle. I'm sorry, that's how it is. It's fun to play around with the ball and you see pros doing around the world and whatever, but I feel like many people destroy their careers because they try to look fancy on social media because of skills and this.
Oh, we can absolutely agree on that. You shouldn't go hard into freestyle and put more emphasis on that rather than playing football, but having fun with a ball is not gonna be bad for you.
No.
But don't just automatically think that because you're a good freestyler, you're also going to be a world-class footballer, because there's so much more to it. There's the physicality and there's the whole intelligence on the pitch. Who is Real Madrid going to sign in the summer?
I have a bad feeling Hazard is going to bounce.
Yeah, Eden Hazard is going to go, isn't he?
He's so out.
Hazard, it's a natural move. Zidane is there. I also have a bad feeling that they're going to come calling for some of the Man United players. They have now given their hunt for Paul Pogba a code name. It's now called Operación Pogba.
Anyways, with those words, we're
We
moving
move
on to
real talk.
How do we stop getting injuries frequently? Especially like, when you play for a proper team, every single day, the teams do a lot of like injury preventing exercises.
Yes.
And here we're talking muscle injuries, Obviously you can always get a 2-footed sliding tackle and, break your ankle or something like this. But muscle injuries it's always the player's fault. I'm sorry to say it, but it shows lack of,
Preparation.
Yes.
And
bad
understanding your
warm-up,
body,
bad exercises of your, not just doing crunches, but like the deep abdominals and, the thighs and all this. So, figure out what kind of exercises you should do every single day that are especially made for, strengthening those like deep muscles that are hidden, that you don't just get by doing bench press.
Muscle injuries occur because of bad body management. I totally agree. Why don't Adidas or Puma make any signature boots for their players? Adidas do make signature boots for Messi and Pogba. Why don't Puma?
My thinking here is that maybe it might be harder than we think to sell those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like obviously people, like the young kids love to wear boots that their idols wear. But if you slap their name on it, it takes a bit of guts to, wear a boot that says Messi.
I know. And, especially also for, older guys like us. We're adults. We're not going to run around with some other dude's name or logo on our boots. It might be the coolest colorway out there, but I'm just not going to do it. And apparently, the kids might feel the same way. So I think it's only for the really marketable players that they're going to do it. Puma, I think right now they've made a good decision focusing on selling the inline boots and the special editions, and they're doing well. I don't think there's any need right now to make any unnecessary signature colorways. And Adi, the Messi colorways have declined in popularity, so maybe it's also a good decision to be strategic about it and not just flood the market with it.
And with those words,
we're moving on to the boot
bag.
Let me take the first one here. Do you think Mizuno Indonesia is better than Japan with respect to budget? Now, before we get into the answer here, I want to clear something up that the made in Japan boots are probably the most expensive boots on the market, but also the most well put together, the best craftsmanship out there, because they're lasted for 24 hours and they're double bonded, which means that they glue them, and they let the glue dry, and then they glue them again. So it's like very, very high quality boots, but they're also very expensive. If you don't have the money for that, the made in Indonesia boots are made with the same high quality materials, more or less. They still have all the Mizuno genius of engineering put into them. They're just not built in hand by some sensei in Japan, right? So definitely I would say, yes, they're better value for money, but they're not the better boots. So if you have the money, or if you want that exquisite experience of wearing the highest quality boots on the market, go for the made in Japans, because it pays off.
Jay Mike, what is the best gear that a kid should buy?
The best gear that a kid should buy, I would actually say, get some decent boots that are comfortable, but also accept the fact that you're gonna grow. Your feet are gonna grow. So don't necessarily go out and buy the most high-end boots, unless of course your parents or you yourself have the money to do it. It's nice. What I would go for is a proper pair of shin pads, because if you get a bad injury as a kid, it means a lot, because your bones are growing, and if you get like a actual fracture somewhere, you break something, it can really put a dampener to your desire to play football or even your promising football career. And then get a good pair of grip socks, because grip socks, it's just nice and it really makes a difference on the pitch.
Lovely. And now we move on to the giveaway! Which boot brand do you guys think has the most pro players wearing on the pitch? I'm gonna say Adidas.
Wow.
I have there's no stats. I don't have anything here in front of me.
I would probably say it's a tie between, it's a close one, but probably, I would say Nike actually, because of the major part of players wearing materials. And with that, we have the question of the month. And that is from this guy right here. Player you wished that were in their peak right now, retired players only. And I think I know yours.
Ronaldinho. Yo, imagine the scenes right now. If we had the, 2006, 2007-ish Ronaldinho. just balling with CR7 and Messi right now.
What I would really love to see was to have George Best here. Like George Best, the OG swag baller, right? He's like, technique-wise, he probably couldn't play the game, the modern game. But I would love to see like a modern version of George Best, everything he could do, or Eric Cantona. So with those words, I think it kind of concludes another Q&A episode with a bit of advice on how you can actually analyze and improve your own game. Guys, don't forget to leave all of your questions you want answered in the comment section right down below for the next Q&A. Let us know what you think we should discuss right down there. Of course, if you want to get your hands on the latest and greatest gear, you can check our website right over there. You should really go subscribe to our channel also with the notifications on to see all the latest videos the second they drop. And if you want to improve as a football player, you can check out the playlist right down there. With that said, we're signing off. Adieu.